here they come.
Welcome to this week's episode of Here They Come. I'm Paul Ramlow.
And I'm Kate Lockhart.
Kate, last week in Newark, New Jersey, the Hall Institute, a nonpartisan New Jersey public policy group, teamed up with the Rutgers School of Public Affairs and Administration to host a presentation which they titled The Gaming Industry in New Jersey, Present and Future. Several important speakers took part in this presentation. Leading the way was John Hanson, the chairman of the Governor's Gaming, Sports, and Entertainment Advisory Commission. He was joined by several notable speakers, including Dr. Karen Malinowski of the Rutgers Equine Science Center, and she had some very interesting information for us.
Yeah, Dr. Malinowski and her team at the Equine Science Center have done some extensive research into the economic impact of horse racing and sort of the equine-related industries in the state of New Jersey. And she had some fascinating numbers to share. First of all, standardbreds outnumber thoroughbreds by 2-to-1 in the state of New Jersey, which surprised me, and that they have a $1.1 billion economic impact on the state. That's a huge number. She also noted that over 200,000 acres in the state are supported by the horse industry, and that represents over 30% of the agricultural land in the state of New Jersey. So if people care about open spaces, also jobs, there's over 13,000 equine-related jobs in the state of New Jersey. In these economic times, these are impressive numbers, and ones I was glad she was able to share with the group. Ken Weingartner of Harness Racing Communications caught up with Dr. Malinowski, and she offered these comments on the meeting.
I think we hit a home run on that. We brought that message home loud and clear. Actually, a lot of the discussion was also talking about how many people have left Atlantic City and aren't gambling in Atlantic City but going out of state. And I have confidence in Jeff Garral that if anyone's going to be able to hit a home run on this, it's going to be Mr. Garral. Thanks,
Dr. Malinowski. We really appreciate those comments. Also speaking at the conference, Kate, was Jeff Garral, who, of course, is negotiating to lease the Meadowlands. And he offered a lot of insight into what he thinks can happen with a new Meadowlands racetrack.
Yeah, it was great to hear directly from Jeff what it is he hopes to do with the Meadowlands going forward and his comments on the situation the track was in. He talked about how much racing's business model has changed since the Meadowlands opened and how he's got to try to find different things that will work to bring people to the track. They've got a huge number of people to draw from. There's over 20 million people that live within 50 miles of the Meadowlands, and he's really focusing on the value racing can provide as a night of entertainment in getting folks out to the track. And he talked about that with Ken Weingartner of Harness Racing Communications.
It's getting so expensive to do anything. The movie ticket is, what, $12? You go to a baseball game, it's $150. So, you know, we've got to convince people, hey, you want to have some fun? It's free. Free admission, free parking. Hot dogs are $1 or $2. A beer is a couple of dollars. You know, you go to these sporting events and they gouge you every which way they can. We're not going to do that. I've been very successful at Tioga. You'll never hear anybody think that our prices for food are too high. We don't take advantage. We have concerts that are almost free do a lot of charity work. People to think of it as a fun place to go, and I think, we'll see how it goes.
Well, Paul, he's back. St Elmo Hero returned to the track this weekend. It was great to see him racing again, and he managed to extend his unbeaten streak to 25 straight races.
Yeah, a long time coming. St Elmo Hero was supposed to have raced in the Camfella Stakes eliminations at Woodbine last month, but he was scratched. He did, however, make his first Canadian start, as you said, this past Saturday in a $28,000 Preferred 2 pace at Woodbine, and he ran that winning streak to 25 with a 151-1 victory. Some interesting comments from Jody Jamieson after the race. He said, "This is just a terrific horse to drive." But he says, when you're trying to keep a horse's huge unbeaten streak alive, you have to take your shot and move him. Jody was kind of afraid that he was going to get locked in jail, and that's not the way you want to go when you have a long winning streak on the line.
No, and Mark McDonald really pushed him. I mean, Jody sort of made his move early, made the lead at the quarter pole, and then Lennon Blue Chip came, and at the half he took over, and Jody just wasn't comfortable. He popped right back out and held on for the win. It was a pretty solid victory, and St Elmo Hero looks great. I'll be curious to see what he manages to do the rest of the season.
Yeah, apparently his connections don't have his next couple of starts really mapped out yet, but his next big race will be the Graduate Stakes at the Meadowlands. He is eligible to that. We'll see what happens between now and then. Another older horse was in the spotlight on Saturday night at Woodbine as well. Kate, is Hypnotic Blue Chip got his first stakes triumph of the 2011 season, as he won the Spring Pacing Championship.
Paul, I have to say, Jody, he may have been really conservative in the way he drove St Elmo Hero, but when he drove Hypnotic Blue Chip, he got away 7th and stayed there and stayed there and stayed there, finally pulling at the top of the stretch. And it was described as a ferocious kick, and I think that's the best way to describe it. It was amazing how he came on at the end and managed to just get the win by a head.
Yeah, we all remember Hypnotic Blue Chip on Hamiltonian Day last year at the Meadowlands when he set a world record in winning his division of the U.S. Pacing Championship. He certainly looks like he's going to be a major player in 2011, and when Won the West gets back, and this should be a very outstanding group of older horses as the year progresses. Well, in addition to the exciting racing this past weekend, Kate, we also had the opening weekend of the USTA Strategic Wagering program. I was interested to see how folks were going to take a look at this. Boy, the results were really excellent.
They really were, Paul. It was an excellent start to the program on Friday night at Northfield. The pool was guaranteed at $10,000. They had just shy of $15,000 bet into that pool. And then on Saturday night again, Northfield beat the guarantee, which again was for $10,000. They came in at $12,491 in that pool. But the numbers from Balmoral are just amazing. Balmoral's pool on Saturday night for their pick 4 was guaranteed at $15,000. They had over $34,000 bet into it. And then Sunday, they have a popular pick 4 that was guaranteed at $25,000 as part of the program, and over $43,000 was bet into that pool. The program was developed, it was an idea from Chris Schick to attract bettors, to try to give them more value and have them bet more on harness racing. And I have to say, it seems as if we're off to a great start. I'll be curious to see how things progress the rest of the month of April. And for a full schedule of the races included in the program, go to handicapping.ustrotting.com. There you can find links to past performances provided courtesy of Trackmaster, as well as picks from the experts. See what it is that they think you should play on these pick 4 wagers. Also, keep your eyes peeled for news releases about future wagers to be included. We're starting with pick 4s, but there's going to be other bets included as the program moves forward. And for the most up-to-date information, be sure to like USTA Strategic Wagering on Facebook, and also follow us on Twitter at USTA Strat Wager. There we continually post updates, and you can make sure you know what the latest information is about the Strategic Wagering program. Well, that wraps up this week's episode of Here They Come. There's quite a few people to thank this week, starting with Dr. Malinowski. I also like to thank Jeff Gural and Ken Weingartner, Woodbine Entertainment, and the man behind the camera, Rich Johnston. I'm Kate Lockhart.
And I'm Paul Ramlow. Be sure to join us next time for another episode of Here They Come.